Hey everyone, this is Bryan. Welcome to the first official Kevin Le Vu podcast show.
Cool.
You're with Kevin, Meg, and myself.
Hey
Hi.
guys.
Place where we talk about marketing, business, and strategies.
Cool. Yeah.
And this is the
one.
very first one.
First one.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And thank you for the first introduction
Yeah,
to
felt
this
cool.
show.
Batter up. All right.
So where should we start?
Well, I think it's important that I will let Bryan take over a little bit, but for me to just set the tone and everything, why we're not doing Past the Aisle anymore. As you could tell, all the Past the Aisle branding is gone. We're still going to do it. I think it's still a great tool for Chi and I to do that. And we have that space to talk about our marriage, but we're in a very good place now. So I've always wanted to talk about business, but with you.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I feel that we put in the work in the last 2 years in our marriage and in our business, we're ready to do this KLV branded podcast, which is so cool. And we finally have help. So Bryan will be the showrunner.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you, Bryan. Yeah, like I could never do it the way that I wanted to before because I was telling Bryan earlier, it's just too many things to do. So finally we have the right help.
Yeah, this is really cool because I was listening to Past the Aisle for a while and it's like a fan. I became like a fan of it. Now, I was thinking too, maybe I should like be featured on one. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
So this was cool.
Heck yeah.
I'm finally here.
Heck yeah, we would love to have you on Past the Aisle.
That'd be fun.
We had Courtney on. So
Yeah.
Really? I
we
haven't
had-
watched that
Courtney was
episode
on.
yet.
Well,
That'd be
we
funny.
were trying to get to know her, and we thought an hour-long podcast with her or
Yeah.
whatever would be
That was
good.
long. That was
We
like-
did it twice, yeah.
we did
Jenna
it
was
twice.
on one too, right? Or
No, she actually wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was only Courtney.
we want to get her on. There's so many things I wanted to do with podcasting, but it's just a matter of fact, like manpower. I needed help. You know, it was
There's
so
a
hard.
lot of things you have to kind of make sure.
Which you're gonna find out in a minute.
Is
'Cause
the
we-
memory card full? Is this recording?
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready.
But let's go. Let's
Yeah.
jumpstart it.
I definitely, before we kind of move on to, like, I know Bryan has questions for us, but kind of round up 2019.
Mm-hmm.
For me, really quickly, for you, whatever Bryan has to kind of just do like a 2019 roundup for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to start it off?
Okay. We went through a lot
And stuff.
and it was actually, I'd say for me personally and professionally, it was my, it wasn't necessarily hard professionally, but I think it was like an adjustment, you know, like I said in previous, if you caught us on Past the Aisle, it was a lot of adjusting for the first time, us working together and really trying not to do anything else other than this business together.
Mm-hmm.
That was different. That was new, even though it kind of seemed like it was always there. So that was a different way of doing things, which I think finally just helped us be the business people that we're supposed to be. So, and then working from home too. And then finally providing boundaries, and we kind of did this kind of late, so if anybody's doing business from home, they should like have some boundaries and try to mimic a 9-to-5 like kind of style. Like we kind of always scoff at it, the entrepreneur, because we have the freedom, but you actually need structure. And a lot of people that come to us talk about, I want structure, and I'm like, I don't have any structure.
But a lot of people out there don't have structure.
Yeah.
And people just find structure in their own ways. And some people don't have the luxury of starting a business. Because where I first started, I started in the room, had my underwear on.
Yeah.
I was in the corner.
I like busted into the room one time, like when I first moved into the house, and we were friends first, and we weren't working together yet, but we were friends first. And like, he's like, come in and on this move-in date, and I was like, dope. And my parents were with us.
Oh.
And then it was so quiet in the house, and I was like, I need some hot water for the vacuum cleaner or whatever, carpet cleaner. And then I was like, I know this room because you gave me a tour.
Yeah.
I know this room has hot water. So I just busted in there. he was in the corner like this. And
Looking
he was
for
like,
something.
I was surprised, and I was like, I need hot water. He's like, there's some downstairs. I was like, okay, sorry, bye.
Wow, so that was the first time.
That
was the first look, huh?
Yeah.
That was the first look.
That was the first look, yeah.
Awesome.
I was
Good
working
thing
on
we're
a
friends first.
nightstand and everything.
Yeah, I had a big ass iMac on a nightstand.
Literally.
Like bigger than the nightstand.
That's pretty much the day you want her.
Yeah.
Is that moment?
But we all
Funny.
start from somewhere.
We all start
and
from
then
somewhere, yeah.
we migrated actually within that home. So
Yeah.
we started from my room that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And from that corner to downstairs, that was our office. And
Yeah.
then that's where we worked side by side. And then we kind of read up on feng shui and everything. And
Didn't do it.
and then didn't do it. We had our desks against each other, so it felt like we were at war,
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
head on head in a way.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
energy wasn't flowing, so we had it side by side, and that felt a little bit better.
But not right still.
Yeah.
Maybe too
Yeah.
close.
Too close.
Yeah.
Close, yeah.
We're particular.
And then, yeah, there's just a lot of things. The more that you grow in your business, the more tools you need, the more things you need, and
The more help you need.
it's just a lot better if that person has their own space, that they can think within their own space. And I do talk a lot, so when someone's in my space, I do like ask Megan a lot of questions, and it probably
I'm like,
annoys
stop
it.
it.
Probably annoys the hell out of her, because I'm a visionary. I do have a lot of ideas. I like to just
And I
kind
just
of
diagnosed me as ADD.
yeah, I do have a little bit ADD, or I do have ADD.
I feel like you do, like legit though.
But yeah, I'll, like whatever's in my head, I just want to spit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else I get sort of anxious of just bundling that up into my head. So
And I'm like, email me. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay.
I have to control myself.
Email me.
Self-control.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we're here now in separate rooms, which is a lot better.
So that happened this year.
Yeah, and that happened
Okay.
this year.
Recently.
Yeah.
And before, we were both in that small room, and
Oh, I see.
I think you never seen that
No,
setup
no.
ever.
Oh yeah.
So
I've
if you
seen it.
saw it was like, how the heck did you guys fit two of those big giant desks down there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was cramped.
It was cramped.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
faced towards the wall. She was faced towards the wall. Our backs was against each other. So
Mhm.
the feng shui was also terrible
Yeah.
because yeah.
We knew that too, but things kind of like get away from you, especially when you're at home. Everything overlaps.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Everything just goes into another. And because the business kind of like always comes first if you work for yourself, because it's your survival basically. So it kind of like tends to override everything. You forget to set boundaries. And then before you know it, 10 years go by and you're like, I don't have anything for me. Or I'm too much over here, or I don't have balance, basically,
Right,
if you don't
right.
balance.
That is the hardest part
Yeah.
when it comes to owning a business is balance.
Balance.
Especially when the business is yours.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of balance.
You just do.
And then another challenge is now people are working for you, right? And they have families, they have a significant other. You want to make sure they're taken care of as well. And
Right.
and that responsibility as an owner, you want to make sure that you're doing your job to be on top.
Yeah.
Structure.
Yeah,
It's
structure.
This is where
Structure.
structure comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. It's like, yeah, it's always challenging, but that's what makes it fun.
Mm.
You know,
Super fun, yeah.
super fun. Because if you work like in like CVS or something, you know, they do have structure to get to the point that they're at, but I feel like the job is not requiring too much from you. It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
making you think beyond
All
your
the things,
capabilities. Yeah.
Mhm.
all the ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but 2019 roundup for sure. The boundaries really helped me. It helped us. It also trust was a big thing because
yeah.
I let go of emails.
Right.
And
I've heard about this.
so that was about what 10 years 10 years of emailing clients and emailing them on the fly the moment I get it, right?
Yeah.
So customer service was always like 100%. and to trust someone to respond it the right way, to to send it quickly enough for them to get it before our competitors or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it was all that. It was a big step. So letting go of that was probably the most challenging part.
Yeah.
And then once I let go, I felt more relieved. I felt less stressed throughout.
So it paid off.
It did pay off. I'm more relaxed, I would say, than all the previous years. All the previous years, it felt like, here's 10 jobs, do it all.
Yeah, everything on your shoulders.
Yeah, everything was on your shoulders.
It's the only way you knew how.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because you started it, right? And then you're like, I don't know how to split it up. I don't know what direction to take. I don't know where to start.
Or how to teach somebody to do what you do.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Like, for someone to know and do it naturally and to break down your system of your thought process behind everything, it's so intricate. And you're not sure if that person can adapt to what you've learned and what you went through. Yeah.
What about you, Ray?
Oh man, I love structure. That's kind of been my thing for the last.
That's why we hired him.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, I would say I've been really working on myself as far as just being disciplined and just like it goes with everything. Like I love washing my car. Right now it's been raining for like a week and it's killing me because I haven't washed my car. So when it comes to structure, I've just learned to fully love it. And it's helped me so much. It's helped me get here. So I'm very thankful to be here. Like I've told you guys so many times. Like
We're thankful too.
Yeah, we're thankful.
It's I think it all had to do with timing too, because I wouldn't have been able to do this like 2 years ago. I think I would have been intimidated, and I would have just maybe left or something, got scared or something. But now, just through structure, discipline, and learning to fail, just accepting that it's not always going to be a win, but there's lessons in those failures.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's helped me to be where I am today.
That's good.
Well, you're explaining how starting working from home, that's kind of where I find myself. Like I have my desk now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like that was the goal this year, to get a job where I can work from home, just to have
In your underwear.
in my underwear, pajamas, my slides. My brother, he just got me some like Nike slides, and
I want some slides too, man. I was like, man, I need that.
All
We'll
comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's still a 9 to 5. It's still hardcore. You're still, I think maybe you're even working more.
Oh hell
if
yeah!
you're working at home.
You are. I mean, you're constantly like thinking.
Yeah.
You're always thinking of how to be
better,
but 2 steps ahead of the entire world.
Yeah.
Well, at least
sure.
your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world.
I mean, not the world, but like within your industry, which is the world
Our
in
world. That's
within
our world.
California.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I found myself working last night, like, off the clock, but just examining the company and just.
I know. I was surprised to get that extra slack.
Because I hadn't done it. I had to leave on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day was pretty slow. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself on a day off. My girlfriend's always telling me, you need to relax. I just can't. I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
So balance.
Yeah, it is balance.
That's 2020 for me, is balance.
Yeah.
For
I have
sure.
structure. Now it's balance.
Right.
Yeah.
When to go hard and then also when to relax. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as we've been learning with the dog training too, like, if you're always on, like a dog can always be on, like, oh, I gotta protect you, I gotta do this, like that. Like they're like hella anxious. It's like, it's a really big lesson for a human, because we can be that way.
Right.
Where we're just like always on. We can't just go to a social function and like not go crazy talking about your child because I'm so bored out of my mind because I want to talk about business. That's not balanced though.
Right.
Like before I would kind of wear that as a badge, like I'm an entrepreneur, like I'm time for your crazy stupid 9 to 5 life. Like I'm beyond that. Like it's really like not humble.
Yeah.
But now it's about balance. Like, I do admire the 9 to 5 structure where you can come home and you can turn it off. Like we can't really do that, so it takes a lot more discipline from us to do that. Yeah, and to still have your home be a home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so for me 2019 was just learning about all this and then feeling like finally having my foot in the right door
Yeah.
and, you know, getting into this industry and just growing like being a sponge, man.
Yeah.
That's why she asked me, "Are you sure you want to go out with Kevin?" I think it was the Ice House. It was
Ice
like
House?
6 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I want to go because I want to see how this guy works. You know, like, I want to learn. Like, it's the whole thing, you know."
Yeah.
So it's 2019 was just getting my foot in, and
Yeah.
2020 is just trying to take off.
That's
with
probably like us too,
balance.
getting our foot into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2019 was about just establishing a good foundation, and then 2020
Yeah.
just build upon that foundation and
Yeah.
Right. Just
Go
piece
with it.
by piece.
Yeah.
you
Piece
know,
by piece,
baby
yeah.
steps.
And what we've learned throughout these 10 years is don't rush things. I feel like, in our experience, did we rush through certain things? I think we rushed through
That's
things.
why we have some problems right
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? Like I freaking rushed it. And
Yeah.
I was like so desperate for things to work or happen, or I would come on so like, oh cool, like I can take care of you, but not really.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't ready to provide structure yet, like training structure or emotional structure. Like you'll find out there's a big emotional component to business, especially if you have other team members that work with you and stuff, and you have to deal, like their problems become your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to this on another podcast where I never hear them talk about it. I never hear them bitch or complain. They're just like always going. But it's a huge component for every business to deal with the emotional side.
Yep.
Like everybody else's problems become yours if you're the runner.
That's why they have human resource.
Right.
And you send them to human resource, and then
right.
someone will.
Right.
Which is
Well,
what
just-
I do, right?
Yeah.
Like that's because it's just the two of us before. It's like you have to take on all the human resource, all the customer service complaint too. Like, so not only complaint from your own team, but complaints from the clients,
Mm-hmm.
complaints from each other. Like it's too much. So
Yeah.
the more that you can have more balance.
But yeah, that's also a balance in business. You're going to get complaints. It's
Expected.
Yeah, that's hard to like prevent. But that's
it
what.
stings.
Yeah, it balances the business though. You're like, it's steering you in the right direction. You're like, okay,
Right.
I'm not going to do this anymore, or I don't. These clients aren't meant for me. Things like that, and then you start to restructure your business to target towards the couples that you want to work with.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just the growing pains all the time when you own your own business.
Adjustments.
Yep.
And making those. Yeah.
We had a really good year-end meeting for the company, like I was telling you about, and that you'll probably be a part of in the future, where we could like finally not take things personally too, because we would kind of defend our ideas before, and now that we've really kind of locked ourselves even tighter together as business partners and like as husband and wife and all that stuff, that we do everything together. We were finally able to just like be separated. Like, this is business. Email
Good.
me. This
That's
is how
good.
I like to work. This is how you like to work. Cool. And not to like get hung up on past stuff or past her or anything. Just like, this is what it is. Let's move forward. This is what it is. Let's move forward. So
Yeah.
a lot better, I'd say, just in terms of us working together.
Acceptance, right?
And acceptance, yeah. And surrendering to the process. Like, this is what it is. Like,
the situation.
this is the situation. This sucks right now. Okay, cool. Like, this is why we're going to move in this direction. I don't take it personally. It's just what it is. Cool. Let's move there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Instead, we would be so like, why is it like this? Why is it like that? Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that.
It's like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah,
Right,
it was
right.
so
Yeah.
annoying.
Resisting.
Yeah.
Resisting, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we're more in a much more like Zen acceptance state. Like, it's what it is. All
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I love that state.
Let's just move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you had questions for us.
Yeah.
I have many questions.
All right.
We could be
Hit
here
me.
24/7. But there was something you guys said as far as being the 9 to 5. One question just popped in my head very quickly is, so how do you guys turn that off? Have you found a way to do that yet?
I'm better at it than she.
Yeah, I mean, she's a lot better because she has video games to turn to.
yeah. Yeah.
For me, I mean, my 9 to 5, like in the morning when I wake up, like I haven't even started work, so I turn it off when I'm in the gym. So the gym is where I can release a lot of my energy because supposedly I have ADD.
Yeah.
But I do expel a lot of my energy
She
there
needs to,
to
yeah.
allow me to kind of think straight throughout the day. And if I don't expel that, energy, I feel agitated throughout the day, like kind of
He's irritable,
antsy.
yeah.
I get
On edge.
Yeah,
He's
on
moody
edge.
too,
And I
yeah.
get mood swings if I don't.
I'll be like, why are you attacking me with all this? Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Like kind of irrational fears.
yeah.
Oh, it's like, it's because you haven't worked out or you haven't expelled that. And I
Yeah.
was like, I feel like this guy have ADD.
I mean,
It's like
think about
you're-
it too. You don't have the commute. You're right.
No
here.
commute,
So
yeah.
You don't have that break or just going to lunch. Everything is here. So,
Yeah, everything is here.
So
But other than that, I feel the only structure that I put in place, so say if I'm shooting a wedding on Saturday, I'm going to edit that wedding throughout the day on Monday. And normally that's my editing day. So where I set aside like 12 hours of editing for that day. Sometimes I finish the wedding, sometimes I don't, and it just kind of spills over on Tuesday. But I do try to finish everything from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then this way allows me to have more break throughout the week. So from Tuesday to Friday, I either have one engagement session that I have to go out and photograph. So it allows me to kind of re-energize myself, to just be able to think creatively when I'm on site. So
It is a set.
or on set and on site. So
So are you saying, as far as your 9 to 5 breaking out of that is mostly the gym, just getting that
so far,
release?
Doesn't sound
Yeah.
like there's any break.
yeah, there.
Because it sounds like it's,
I didn't hear any break.
Well, no, because I get there's like a
Yeah.
a freedom in working out. There's like
Yeah.
I don't know if because I understand it. Like
I do get the runner's high. Like
yeah.
I
Yeah,
do
he
get a
runs.
high
Yeah.
in working out,
Mhm.
and it feels good. Like it.
Every rep is like an accomplishment
Yeah.
too. So it's kind of fun in a way.
And I'm also thinking when I'm working out, like, but then thinking more like just personal gains, nothing business related.
So that's kind of the bridge. Okay, so you're working 9 to 5. You're working out for 2 hours, maybe.
2 hours, yeah.
After that, are you more relaxed?
More
Ready
relaxed.
to come into her
The business,
world?
yeah, her world. Working to 9 to 5. So so if I edit everything on Monday, everything from Tuesday to Friday, I'm able to keep that more a 9 to 5 schedule because now I don't have that big plate, those big duties I have to do. If I split up my edits throughout the day versus just putting it all on Monday, I feel like I can't relax because there's always something I have to do.
Right.
Yeah. I always have to kind of, I just know I have to go back to these photos and make sure they're all consistent. Because when I do edit all in one day, I guarantee that all the images were
Right.
consistent.
Yeah.
Uh,
You had the same eyes. Through the
yeah,
whole
same
thing.
eyes,
Yeah.
color palette looks good, everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
I find that too. Like I've been experimenting with editing like a block like that and then taking breaks. And I do have a harder time being consistent, but I have to do it because
Yeah.
then I get a migraine. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just choose the inconsistency and take longer.
Well,
to do
only
my
certain
edits.
people can do it. Like,
Yeah,
like I
it
would say.
takes a special person to do it. I definitely tried to do that for the longest time, but then I just made myself sick all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely more like what you do. Like I have to get it done. Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of in the back of my brain and
Yeah.
just coming back with the
Mhm.
different eyes. You're gonna want to start all over.
It's like rock climbing.
I do that all the
If
time.
you don't
I wanna
finish
start
that
over.
problem,
Yeah.
Rock climbing.
you want to you want to get back to it. You want to finish that problem.
Yeah.
And that's me. Like
I get it.
in order for
I
me
wish
to
I could
move
do that.
on into a next project, so say if I shot an engagement session, I won't edit that until I'm finished with that wedding that I just shot.
Right.
It's like homework as well. I want to make sure I do it right and I finish on time.
Mm-hmm.
Or else it
Before
gets
I-
backed up.
Yeah, I don't like being backlogged with a lot of projects. So.
Yeah. It feels very anxious.
Yeah.
So back to Meg real quick. As far as the games, that makes sense. It's like the escape from reality, escape from 9 to 5.
Well, I worked like Chi before, like just like straight. I'll just sit there straight. And then I would always be complaining about something. Like, fortunately, he does not. He has a very healthy body. And unfortunately, I don't. So I have the motivation of pain. So I'm really good with it because I have a really good motivator. Like, I think anybody, when they reach a point where they can't anymore, like their health is in question, then they change, right? But otherwise, I was working like he did, because that's what he taught me, how to work this way. So that's what I was doing. But then it was actually really bad for me. I couldn't really take it. So after like 7 or 8 years, I was like, oh, okay, I think
It's a long time.
yeah, actually it was longer than that. It's
Wow.
probably like 9 years before I realized, oh, it's because I'm sitting here for a long time, and that's why I get migraine. I just thought, oh, I just get migraines. They're like, oh, maybe it's because how you
check
work.
engine light. yeah, sums up.
So all those little things that I've been ignoring, and it's just my daily habit of sitting like this or whatever, right up. I was like, oh, duh. So once I changed that, I just forced myself to take breaks, which it does interrupt my eyes though. So it sucks. It does take me longer to edit, but I'm like, that's what it is, man. That's just my way. So now I work from like the moment I wake up, I'm answering emails. And then it's great because I don't get to hear a bunch of questions yet. It allows me to just wake up, do what I know I need to do. And then after he works out, then he can come to me with any questions. But then now I'm like, okay, email me.
You're warmed up.
Yeah, I'm warmed up.
Yeah.
I don't like to be like attacked with all of these questions yet in the morning. I like to take my time. It's like super quiet. I tend to the dog. And then probably around 10 or so, then he comes in. So it gives me a good 4 hours to myself, which is perfect. That's what I need. I need to not like if he comes in at 7, surprisingly, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
It like interrupts my day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he must need some. It must be something important, or it's funny or whatever. And then if it becomes business, I'm like, email me. But now we have that language, which is cool. So he's like, okay, I'll just email you.
Yeah, but getting up early like that and just having those few hours of silence, that's common practice from what I hear from a lot of
kind of my joy as a
business owners.
As a business owner, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I
Yeah.
have coffee.
There's people that wake up at 5. Yeah.
Especially,
just relax.
People who trade and people who are into the stock
yeah.
market, because that's, East Coast time, they're already trading.
Yeah, they're already up.
Yeah,
So-
they're up.
Yeah.
It's very common practice.
And those people that live here are trading, they're up at the same time as New Yorkers. And
Yeah.
In the summer I'm up at 5 just because I kind of rise when the sun rises. So
in tune.
yeah, I
That's
like
cool.
that, my circadian rhythm. Well, because my eyes, it's not because of me, but it's because I had LASIK and now I have barely any like protection on my eyes. So the moment
I do wake
there's
up
any
earlier
light-
in the summer because you can feel the heat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
you can
too,
just
and it's
feel
hot.
it. It's
Yeah.
like it's hot.
And nobody
I'm just
wants-
up.
yeah.
No one wants to sleep.
That's
for
true.
sure.
That's
for
true
sure.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super cozy in the morning, and then even when it's super nice out here, like we're in Cowland, but I'll even open the window and I'll just work. So and then by like 5, I'm like ready to check out. So I think pain is a big motivator for me in a good way. It's like, cool, my body's just telling me, hey, you need to slow down. Hey, you need to stretch. Hey, you need to do some yoga, whatever. And then that's how I turn it off. And I've been pretty good about that because, like, I love working too, but I also love to relax. And I think that's Chi's challenge. Like, he loves his work so much that it's hard for him to really, like, and because he has, like, ADD where he needs intense stimulation to touch that point of, like, cool, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So he needs a lot.
Yeah.
I don't need that much. Like I was telling B, I was like, I have coffee, I have a game. I'm so happy right now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But he needs a lot more stimulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get me to relax, you probably have to trap me out in Joshua Tree.
Yeah, it
with
has
nothing
to-
around me.
Has to
and-
cost a lot.
So I imagine getting him to that point must be challenging. But what about getting out? Is it hard? Is it just as hard to get out once you're in it?
No.
That deep
Getting
state
out of
of
relaxation?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's easy.
He's
You're just,
so-
I'm
yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Because I think because he loves his work so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And the anxiety too of like, oh, I have to make money.
Yeah. I
Right.
find myself like between both of you right there. Like
Yeah.
once I'm clocked out, I definitely need to do something physical. Like I need to go out, even if it's just outside, like just to break that, working from home environment.
yeah.
I should
Usually-
be doing that.
Yeah, usually it is the gym or it's basketball,
Yeah.
bikes. And then it's kind of what do I do now?
Yeah.
And then once I'm into the state of maybe playing a game, when I get into that state, I'm in it. I tell her, like, I turn off the lights, I raise the volume, and just get into a game or a movie. I love watching movies. So it's a little bit harder to pull me out once I'm in.
You are kind of like a mix between the both of us. Because I can go there as well, but then I know because my partner is this way, I'm like, oh, I can't really lock everything out. Because it kind of wouldn't be fair. He'll be like, what do I do?
Like,
before our relaxation was to climb at night. And then we would climb and then we would go straight to sleep. Because
that would knock you out too. That's
it felt good, right? After the climb, you're like,
I don't think I was meant for it. I don't know. My body doesn't really agree with it. Maybe it takes more attention or something. I would love to, like, you didn't know I was super athletic when we first started dating. We do a lot of stuff, a lot of sports. I was super athletic. And then just that accident or whatever, the car accident, like, can't do anything anymore.
It's just adjusting. Like, even with my physical activity, I'm not as fast as I used to be. I used to be in cross country too, so I run for a very long time. Now I need to take a break. My knees are starting to hurt already. I feel it. You just gotta make the adjustment.
I'm trying. Like, it's great to have the gym because then I rehab. I do all the gentle yoga stuff. I try not to re-injure stuff. I think that was a big thing too. Like, you so want to get back into the game, play hard, right? Or like I used to play basketball too, and there'd just be so many times where like you skip the rehab stuff. So allowing yourself to rehab, I think that's annoying. I'm
the
like,
resistance, right?
It
comes back to resistance.
And I need to, like, I've been better about it. I haven't had like a major injury in the longest time. Before I would just be out like on my back, right? So
listen to your body. Always.
And I've been pretty good. Like, I still get a little like ooh, but it's nothing like before.
It's good.
It's
Improvement.
Good. It just all starts with your mindset, and mindset is so powerful that if you're waking up to a bad mindset, your entire day will be bad.
Sleep is a big thing.
Sleep is a big thing. I've learned a lot about sleep now that I've been I have a sleep coach, but also I have a CPAP machine because I have sleep apnea.
I remember that podcast.
Even though I still have trouble sleeping with it does help because I know the difference when I don't sleep with it. When I don't sleep with it, I have mood swings. When I do sleep with it, I do wake up very like energized. I'm ready to go. But then I'm in a better mood.
By mood swings, you mean like just there's a switch maybe? Like you're cranky or...
You're cranky.
Irritated?
Yeah, you're irritated because you have lack of sleep. But you thought you had full sleep, but you really didn't. So a lot of people that don't know they have sleep apnea, they'll wake up at the same time, but they basically probably only have 4 hours of sleep. Collectively. And they didn't even know it. They were just way too tired to even notice that they actually woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't breathe, and then went back to sleep. So that's what I've learned. Get some sleep.
I remember when you took me rock climbing that night. I think I messaged Meg like, because we'd gone from the ice house like at 5 a.m. I woke up at 5. And then we went out. You did another shoot. And then later that night we went rock climbing. And I was like, Meg, I don't know if my body's ready for tomorrow. And I slept in a little, and I came over and she said, oh yeah, Kevin's still asleep. So we were both just knocked out that day. Like,
he was out. Like, we were supposed to go somewhere, I think. And it was like coming to that time. And usually he'll wake up on his own. And I was like, I think Chi is not going to wake up and go there. And he was just like out.
Because if you think about it, it puts your mind to the test and then it puts your body to the test. So you just want to shut down. That's for sure. That's a good little exercise.
Good exercise.
Climbing was great, I would love to go back climbing. So it's definitely a 2020 goal.
For sure. That's a good goal to have.
I've been saying that for the last 3 years.
Yeah, all it is it's just really expensive. That was one thing why we got into top roping. That way we can just climb outdoors and not pay a fee.
But then we ended up spending more money because the ropes,
it's all done though. It was one thing, but then the only thing you have to worry about is the weather that you're faced towards with, and how hot it is outside, or how cold the rocks will feel when you're climbing, and safety precautions, of course.
The safety.
Rocks chipping or rattlesnakes.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything could happen out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right.
Kind of scary.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, we got into a little bit of how you guys view business and stuff. But there was one topic where I listened to on a podcast a while ago where Kevin, you talked about you come from a family where they say it's not hard to make money, or it's available if you want to do it. And I was like, wow, this is such a good topic, and I wanted to know more about it. Like, can you go over that?
Yeah, well, that all started when I was in college, and my cousin was just mentoring me throughout college, saying that because I was indecisive, and everybody, when they start college in their freshman year, they're indecisive. They don't know what they want to be. They don't know what they're going to do later in life. And I was just telling her I was like stressed out because
financially?
No, not financially. Like, what am I going to do? What's my
fun.
purpose for living,
Yeah. Big question.
Yeah. What is the
here?
purpose? Yeah, why am I here? And I was telling her I'm just going to do nursing. And she's like, are you sure? I mean, a lot of people, they're not going to dominate your dreams. So she didn't even say anything. Do it, fail. You're going to fail if it wasn't meant for you, right? So I did it, and I worked hard for that degree. I would transfer schools and everything, and in the end, it wasn't for me. I totally just picked up a camera, and I fell in love with it, and I just went for it with that camera. But then throughout this mentorship and throughout her just teaching me about finance and everything, that it's not hard to make money. Like, if you want to make money, anyone can. Like, you can go get a 9-to-5, or you can offer your photography service for a lot cheap, like per hour or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that statement comes with the mindset. Like, it definitely, like, it's not hard to make money. That's just a mindset right there.
Yeah. And it's not hard. And when we first started this wedding photography business, this is when there was no such thing as Facebook groups. There was no such thing as like presets and Instagram.
Very challenging.
Yeah. So all we had was Craigslist and and blogs.
You really had to hustle.
Yeah, you had to hustle, and we're like, all right, so it's not that hard. So I put out on Craigslist and saying that I'll shoot the first 10 weddings for $500. And then a bunch of people came. We had like 20 inquiries, but then I only did 10. And then right there, it just kind of proved to me that, money, if you want it, it will come. But what doesn't come easily is your passion.
Right.
So you rather do what you love than try and just follow the money, chase the money. Because when you chase the money, there's no pure happiness, no pure enjoyment to that.
Yeah, because I think this ties into, the business world. Like, people, that statement alone, it's not hard to make money. You could just hear people's ears flapping up, like, what is he talking about? It's very hard to make money. And I wonder if they are so defensive because maybe it's a fear or something. Like, why do you think maybe people struggle with that?
Well, when people place themselves in that mindset that
it's hard,
it's going to be hard.
Self-defeated already.
Yeah. They're just thinking about all the responsibilities they have for their life. And with all that fear, they feel like it's hopeless, that they can't follow their passion. They can't make their passion work for them.
Because there's like hundreds, thousands of podcasts out there just going over that topic alone. And people just asking the same question over
It's
again.
always the same question.
They come with their, excuses, maybe like, well, I have this and this.
Yeah.
But how do I make more money,
It all comes with mindset. Like, if your mindset is in the right place, and you keep believing in yourself, trust yourself within that process that you're going to take initiative and do what you're supposed to do for your passion, then it will happen. But most people don't. Most people will like say, oh, this is too much work.
Right.
Too much work to work for yourself. And when they quit, then it will never happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that means too. Too much work. That sounds like fear, right? Like maybe I'm
There's
scared.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first heard that, because I'm coming from the mindset of everything's hard, or you need something first to approve you.
Oh, that's another thing too.
You need a degree, right? Like where I come from, and you're in the Filipino culture at this age, like I'm an 80s baby. Vietnamese culture is super different. They're all like very entrepreneur forward. But like where I'm coming from, like it was like college, education, all this stuff. Like don't talk about anything, hold everything in, just go to college and you'll be okay. Which was we were all shocked to find out there is no benefits for you. There is no guaranteed job after college.
For sure.
So everybody was hella mad. I was so mad. And then when I first heard that, and I was contemplating again the same thing, like what's my purpose? And then we were shooting together a little bit here and there, like kind of like nonchalantly, whatever, it wasn't serious. And then he'd be like, yeah, making money is easy. And then I was offended also too, because what I've been defensive, because like what I've been told is like, you know, you gotta work hard, you gotta get your degree. I'm like, but I already got my degree and I'm still working at this goddamn frisbee shop. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about, right? So I really start to question, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean making money is easy?
Yeah, that's a big statement.
Yeah,
it's a really big statement.
But then I learned, I was like, it wasn't so much in what she was saying. Like he's living it already. So for somebody to like kind of like step into that mindset, I had to go through a lot of like transformation. So the big one was like reading. I read a lot of like books, business books. The big one was the 4-Hour Work Week. And I was like, oh, I see what you're saying. So it's when you like release yourself from that fear that you have to do this before I can have this. Or somebody has to pick me or hire me or give me permission.
All the power
first.
is not in you. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So once I saw how like she works, like I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or like mixers, and that's a really good example. Like people feeling like you got to go to a mixer to be social or to be something or hip or in the in crowd or what. He's like, I don't give a shit about that. Like I'm just doing my thing.
A lot of big CEOs are like that too. They really don't care too much for those mixers or social things.
He was all about his art and the way it's supposed to be. So like a lot of all you guys don't know, all the people who are on the team, I was like, I always tell them, I'm like, you guys are having it so good right now because the way that I was taught is not like this.
Right.
Like it had to be this way, but it's this way for a reason. Like that's why we have all this now. That's why we can give you a job, because we're so nitpicky about it. But for whatever reason, it is a really hard standard to rise to.
Yeah.
But every brand that was established, like
it was like that.
For example, Louis Vuitton or just anything, whoever made those purses or shoes, or that's all art, right? So it all came with a standard to be at that
that's
level.
Why it's so important.
And that's why and then to put a price on that, because he believes in himself that it costs that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
like,
just mindset.
Yeah, mindset.
All comes back to
attracting.
Mindset. Right.
Yeah.
And I love the whole like trusting yourself again. Like during that time where I was going through a lot of like inner transformation and the mindset and all that stuff, becoming an entrepreneur, giving yourself permission and all that stuff, like just bringing trust back to you. Like, what do I want to do? Like, can I trust me to do it, and then trust me to do it, right? Like, can I trust myself to do it? So that's what it is to be an entrepreneur, is like, yeah, what can I do? Like, yeah, there's all this stuff, like go start TikTok, go start Instagram, all this new shit. But like, I trust myself to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And so that's what I learned in that time. And so like, and now we're just like, cool. Like, yeah, there's always going to be something new or different on the horizon. Like TikTok is like, I'm not really in that mindset right now, but you could easily just figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then that'll be the next thing. There'll be some next new fandangled thing as we get older. We're like, what's that? I'll just figure it out.
But it's always important as a business owner to always adapt,
Right.
and
Yeah.
be able to adapt
Adjust,
easily.
yeah.
Just because a lot of older business owners
Oh,
they have a hard time adapting to even making a mobile website.
Become dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Extinct.
and that's definitely what we don't want to become.
Yeah.
So
We had our moments though, like
we do have our moments like,
Yeah.
oh, TikTok, oh my gosh, now I have to act, now I have to, you know,
Right.
like now I have to like be someone else that I don't want to be. I don't, you know, I was never a person that want to be in front of a camera and
Right.
and act.
Because
So,
you're the guy behind the camera.
Yeah.
That's your whole thing. You know?
yeah.
So.
I
I think being with the right people, like he comes alive better, like with other people.
I could see that. You
yeah.
know, people brighten.
Because we're
Mm.
together all the time, so it's something new for him. Again, it's his like little ADD thing. He's like, "Cool, I'm working with somebody new.
Yeah. Yeah.
What can Brian do?
Yeah.
What can Steven do?" Right?
Yeah,
If it's
yeah.
me, it's like, "Oh, this is old news." So I like it's finding those things that make it exciting for yourself again. Like we do a lot of things over and over again in our business, but we have to be the one to make it new for ourselves. Otherwise, we're gonna get bored. And I always say is like boredom is death.
yeah,
We hate being bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, him more than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. But going back to the whole business mentality, your business minds,
Mhm.
do you think, Meg, maybe you would look, so if past Meg saw today Meg, would she be like, what? You think like that? You know, like
I think past Meg would be like
you're a sellout or something?
no. I think she'd just kind of be like kind of mind blown. Like what?
Yeah.
I thought it's supposed to be like this.
Right.
Yeah, just not like the world I had before was just super small, and I really didn't have any depth before. And now I take it upon I trust myself to figure it out.
Mhm.
Before I'd be like, oh, I better take a class.
Right.
I better go to school for it. I'm like, I don't need no fucking school.
Right.
Like
right.
I make the school.
Right.
So that's what I found out too after I quit my job, because I understood what like she was trying to say to me, kind of like indirectly, like, oh, you can make it what you want it to be. That's what he was already doing, but he didn't have anybody to tell him. So with me, like I had to learn that, and then I was like, oh, cool. I can make my life exactly how I want it.
Yeah.
That's why I work from home right now. That's why I don't commute. That's why I don't really use my degree as much, but whatever, like you can make it exactly what you want it to be.
It's cool.
But people are super scared that it is even possible.
Right.
Because they're like,
Isn't
well,
that funny?
what does it come with? Like,
Right. Right.
yeah, you're saying all this stuff, but like,
It's too good
it's
to
not
be
for
true.
me. Yeah, or it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's almost like, if you kind of think about it, like a garage sale, and you just place all your items in front of the lawn, and people will buy stuff because it's another man's treasure, you know? It's
Yeah.
like you just never know who's
out
going to
there.
be attracted to, who has similar tastes as you.
Mm.
So when there was current trends of like dark and moody or light and airy in photography, right? I was like, let's just stick with our own style, you know? Because the moment you start following trends, it's the moment that you're not creative anymore.
That's a
Right.
sellout.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
sellout.
Yeah, that's a sellout
Right,
in our
right.
eyes.
Gotcha.
So create your own work, be creative in your own work, and bending all rules. But you know, all along with that, when it comes to photography, everything just needs to make sense.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you know the rules, you
Yeah.
know how to break them. Just
Yeah.
like in great art, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And but it was pretty cool what you just said about depth, having more depth within your life, right?
Mhm.
So I would say a lot of people grew up differently in different cities, and their parents raised them differently, right? So depending on what depth you had in life, some people had a really nice upbringing and never failed in their life.
Yeah.
That's why it's a big surprise for like someone like Megan to finally fail.
Oh, I failed hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then I was like, cool, I've lived, I survived it.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're ready to fail again.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah,
So
it's
it was
a
great.
time. It's your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. I failed really early in life, and it was like very shameful and all this stuff. And then I was like, well, I'm still here, so I guess I better do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own time, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would say, as a childhood, like I failed many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just my upbringing, where my dad left, and then I was just kind of raising myself from 6th grade all the way throughout college, you know. So those were hard times of trying to struggle with a breakup, divorce, and then your purpose in life. What are you going to do? Where, you know, your family is there, but then you really don't hang out with your family in high school. So my family was mainly my friends. I just hang out with my friends a lot throughout high school. And yeah, it was just very different upbringings. So
as far as, you know, like what I asked Meg, like past Kevin looking at present Kevin, are you like, yep, I knew I'd be there, or are
no,
you?
yeah, I wouldn't know I'll be a photographer for sure.
Yeah.
Like I never knew. I just knew back in the day that I did want to dress good. I wanted to be in a high standard sort of job, you know, like, but I never knew, like I knew nursing was just chasing the money. I was definitely chasing the money for nursing. I wasn't passionate about it. Architectural was something that I was interested in, but I sucked at math, so I didn't I didn't pursue it.
I was like, what? There's math in here?
I was like,
I'm
dang it. Yeah, I was out.
Oh, yeah.
When I heard calculus, I'm like, no,
Yeah, dude.
I won't be
Math
able to
is
hit that
scary.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like retake that probably like 6 times or something.
Yeah.
But and then, you know, like then I found photography that didn't require math, and it was just pure enjoyment, you know, of just being immersive through the lens and just whatever I'm capturing that day, you know, you're just in the moment.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's really cool. When I was just talking to Jenna about this like last week. So I was looking for a job, right? Because I wanted my foot in the door. I wanted to follow my passion, right?
Yeah.
And just be creative. Just any environment I could be creative. So I was in class. It was a slow day, and I was like, man, I just don't want to be where I'm at. Like, I'm just going to try. I applied to this job during class, and I was like, Kevin Le Vu, that sounds what? What is this? I said, reading it. Yeah, right. You know, they're not going to do this. Okay, let me just send it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, this sounds so fake, you know?
Oh, shit.
Why is that fake?
Like, too good.
Oh,
and
too good.
It's funny because I'm sure you wrote it. Like, I'm sure you wrote it. Yeah. And it all makes sense because you're very detailed. You're very to the point. It was very to the point. Like, clear cut. This is what the job. This is what they're going to pay. And it sounded great. And I was like, this is too good to be true.
Oh, wow.
So I applied. And I got an email maybe a few days to a week later. I was like, okay, maybe it's spam or something like that.
Why, too fast or too slow?
No, it was just like, because on Indeed or Craigslist, whatever, you find yourself in weird places.
Yeah.
Like, I've found myself in weird places applying to jobs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, creepy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this place can't be right.
That's true. Yeah.
And then, so I'm working a wedding, and I see that the interview is for the following day, and I was like, should I even go to this thing? The wedding was in Victorville, so I had a thought, I'll just stay up here for the night, maybe skip on this interview.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe it's true.
Yeah.
And, it's this fear, right? It's like it's what you want, but you're too afraid of it, right?
Yeah.
So I went, and it wasn't until I sat down across from Meg, and as soon as we sat down, she went off, and I was like, wow, this is it. This is real. Okay, I'm into it. She was detailed. She was like, straight up, this is where we want to go. This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what you would be doing. And it was at that moment where I was like, oh, I'm going for this. Like, I'm in. Like, this is real.
You're
I'm
all
like,
quiet.
yeah, I was like, let's do it.
And I was like,
Yeah, so I was like, wow, this is the place that I could definitely see myself being in.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Yeah, I'm very grateful that you
Yeah.
randomly found us on Indeed.
Yeah, and I would always tell Megan that the people that, just kind of fall within the missing puzzles throughout your life and throughout your business, it's like meant to happen. It's like, it's like we all attracted each other.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it's weird, but
It is weird.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I so wanted this,
But
you.
but I feel like we're in the right track in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and it's really cool because it opened my eyes to you can be a creative business owner. Like it doesn't have to
Yes.
be corporate.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is art,
Yeah. Like
And
each
it's-
one of us can be creative, like
Yeah.
in their own way,
Yeah.
and there's so many things. I mean, being creative is what sets us apart from any other company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember too, because I had met Meg through the interview, and I was like, oh, wow, she's great, And then I met Jenna and Courtney, and I was like, wow, this is a cool team. This is a cool team. But I hadn't met you yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, who's the brains behind this? I don't. You're this mystery character.
Because I'm introverted.
Who's running this? Like I hadn't even seen you
Yeah.
in real life. I was like, who's running this? So I was like, man, this guy, maybe he's strict. He's got to be strict because everyone's so tight. And then you have your moments where you have your standard, right?
Yeah.
Like this is how it has to be. This is what I expect. But you allow yourself to be, relaxed, creative. And I was like, wow, this type of person can exist and be successful. And he says this statement that money's not hard. Like it blew my mind. Like, so I'm in this new world right now where,
I was like that too.
yeah,
Like 9 years ago, whatever. And then there's all this other crap too. But like that was the general thing too. I was like, oh, cool. Like this is different.
yeah.
But you have
this
to,
is different.
you definitely have to struggle for it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though that phrase is like,
No, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's-
have to
It's
work.
loaded for
yeah,
sure.
it's loaded.
It's a loaded, yeah. And you have to deserve it.
Every time I clock in, I'm like, all right, it's like boxing, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this yet, but I'm gonna try. Like,
Yeah.
and like I'll fall sometimes. I feel,
Yeah.
like I'll get disappointed. Like, man, I could have, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
But then just learning,
Right.
that's where the hard work, the effort,
And then when you constantly keep going at it, it's going to get easier and you're going to find
Right.
your style in it.
Mhm.
And I was telling her, like, I can't stop working. If I stop shooting,
Yeah,
then I'm going to lose my creativity.
yeah,
And
your powers.
yeah. Yeah. But seriously, like, I feel like I just started from day one. If I didn't shoot for like 3 weeks,
yeah,
I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say.
yeah.
I feel all weird in front of the clients. I'm like, hey, I met you like a year ago, but and you're trusting me to shoot your engagement right now.
Mhm.
I sort of have to kind of warm up, get back into the motion of things. So it's always good to shoot like once a week at least.
Right.
Yeah, just always be
In practice.
in practice. Yeah.
Just like, if you're a basketball player or whatever, sharpening your skills all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key too.
Yeah. And there are times when you just do it too much, you can burn yourself out.
Mm.
Yeah.
And when I was shooting in Laguna Beach like 3 times a week, and I was
Yeah.
tired of Laguna for
Here
sure.
again.
Yeah.
I was like, I should just buy a home here if I can.
And that's where all the irrational conversations come from. And I'm like, why are we talking about this?
Right.
Because it was a dream, It's like just anything to make it more convenient, right?
He's
Thinking
always
smarter.
wishing.
Yeah.
He has so many wishes.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
get
no
it.
more wishes. You have no more wishes. The genie is gone.
Yeah. Flew away.
You only
Yeah.
get 3,
You
right?
only get 3 and you already used them.
Kevin's trying to make a
2
deal
years
for
ago.
6. Though.
You cannot wish for more wishes.
Yeah, I
That's
did
it.
wish for a USPS and a Trader Joe's near here.
And you
That
kind of got one.
Yeah, I got one, which was cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the other. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that kind of led us to talking about fear, which is also what I wanted to talk about. Just more about, was there fear in starting the company? Like, man, this is what I'm choosing. This is where I want to go. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of fear in that for sure.
Yeah.
because I feel like there's a template now almost to be a photographer. Whereas what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
there was no Instagram. There was no. It was kind of you had to learn from someone.
Yeah. It's definitely wedding photography you know, like a lot people are picking it up and everything, and there's a lot of mentorships now to get you where you want to be. But before, yeah, it was definitely different. There was a lot of fear. I didn't want to let my mom down because that was like the only thing she supported me with was to get that nursing degree. But then I drifted and wanted to do this, right? So, but luckily I was at the last year of nursing school, so I just kind of you know, focus and just get it over with. So I did end up finishing. I did get held back in nursing because I didn't pay attention for one semester, but then those classes wasn't offered for another year, so which I had to wait for another year. But it allowed me to have that time to focus on photography when I wasn't doing much. So there was a fear initially, and then that fear went away when the dean of nursing gave me that break to refocus and try and find my path.
Right.
And within that year, I learned a lot, and just that's when I started the Craigslist thing.
Right.
But there was an off point in wedding photography where I was all about it, and then I gave up on it for like a good 3 months. And then someone asked me, "Where are you?" Like,
was it because you were busy? What was the mindset?
I was like trying to. I knew nursing was hard during that time, and I had to focus on my studies. I didn't want to fail, and it was very hard balancing both worlds of owning a business and going to school and going to an externship in the middle of the night. So things like that.
Meanwhile, people were asking about you.
Yeah, my friends that I made within the wedding industry at the time.
Were clients coming for you as well? Like, hey,
not really, because, and that's the thing when you learn about business is when you don't pay attention to it, just like you're not paying attention to a kid or a baby, it's not going to grow.
Right.
So it's the same thing. When I didn't pay attention to it, there was no response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I remember sitting down at the steps at our old house, and it was just Megan and I talking about, should I quit? Should I stop nursing? Should I just screw this degree? The road. Yeah.
There it is.
Should I just kind of step away from it and not get this degree? But then a lot of people, like my roommates at the time, including Megan, said, you know, only have 1 year, just do it, finish it up, and you can put that aside afterwards and just do whatever you want to do.
Was your gut feeling in agreement with that? Like you felt that was correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it was stressful though, but at the same time, it was like my mom had financial crisis during 2008, 2009. Yeah, so that was hitting me as well. And then, and that was the only pull, was to get into this business and let's just go forward.
Crazy. That's a good fork right there.
Yeah.
There was no discussion too. It wasn't like, oh, let's go into business. It was just like, this is the dire choice. And I was like, let's do this one.
Yeah.
This one's better.
It's either there was only like the red and blue pill, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
There was no discussion. There wasn't like, are you going to help me? I was just already decided. I'm going to help you. I'm here.
Were you in, like in that moment, were you like all in right there too?
I didn't even know what I was agreeing to. I had no idea.
We just did it.
We just did it. We just did stuff.
Why did you?
I think because at that time we had a really I think like our relationship was very young too. And when you're young, like you just want to be a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend. And it's kind of like, especially in Asian culture, it's just expected that you support or you follow the man's lead for a woman. And so I was like, I don't know. Like, I had no idea what I was agreeing to. There was no like, hey, do you want to do this with me? This is the commitment that's going to be required of you. I just did it. Yeah. Probably because, well, like we were together, and we were together very early, and the way that we think our relationship, we were very committed very early on too. So that kind of helped, like kind of just like blanket statement yes to everything. So that's what happened there. And then 7 years later, I was like, oh, I'm still shooting.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is what I'm supposed to do.
So your own little fork right
Yeah,
there.
there was like,
Yeah.
oh, I just was been a follower, and I was happy to follow. And I think naturally I'm a follower, but in a lot of ways I'm also a leader in a lot of ways.
You have leadership skills too.
Which I didn't really pay attention to. I just kept kind of like pushing it down because of, I don't know, whatever. The old story. So
resist. There it is. Resisting, right?
Not
It's
accepting,
everywhere.
like
Yeah.
not really accepting who I am, and not even asking myself, is this what I want to do? Like I didn't. I just followed. It was kind of like expected of me, which was, when I look back, it's like, for somebody who's on the other side, it should have been like, well, you should have said something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, I don't know.
Right.
Like I have no idea what it means to like ask
I think
myself.
a lot of people agree with that too.
Yeah,
They just don't know.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I was just, especially as a woman, I think it's important not to beat this point down, but just like, that's what is expected of you kind of generally as a woman, to follow a man's lead. So that's just what my upbringing was at that time. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. Like I still do that today, you know. There's a lot of times where I was telling Chiels, like, a lot of times I just follow you, but this time, like, say for the coffee, I'm leading this.
Yeah.
But me a long time ago, I wouldn't have been able to say that or trust myself to say that, trust my own ability to lead. So yeah, we just did it, and like, cool, it just got us here.
Yeah.
But yeah, fear does push you.
Yeah.
I mean, fear can also fail you as well.
It can destroy you.
Yeah, it can destroy you and you will never grow.
Right.
But there's a fear in motivation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It kind of takes a certain person to you have to be a risk taker.
Right.
Yeah.
You can almost see it in people, right? Like you can, like whenever I see these podcasts and people are so fearful, like, oh, well, how do I do this? How do I do, like,
Yeah.
there's so much, anxiety and fear, doubt. It
Yeah,
almost
doubt.
makes you think, man, like, if you don't have the mindset right now, like, it's going to be challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just coming back to the mindset. But I think everyone just wants something so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So results, like, boom, boom, boom.
And
That's unreasonable.
it never happens.
Yeah.
It's not organic. It's
Yeah.
not natural.
It's
not
not
natural.
natural. Yeah,
Because
for
you don't
sure.
get to see what you're really passionate about. You don't get to see, through your failures, like what works and what doesn't work. You're just seeing what makes money.
Yeah.
And that's not always a good sign, right? Like
That's
money could lie to you, right? One
Yeah.
day this is good, next day it's
Yes, yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Like 5 orders in a day, you're like, dope, I'm making bank.
And then
Yeah.
next week.
And you're like, oh, nothing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Money
we
can
had
lie to you.
We had
that
a friend
conversation,
that was doing really well. I would say probably was chasing the money,
Yeah.
and just one day, you just get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then turned his world upside down, and we had to start from square one.
Well, everybody does it,
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not above thinking that, because
Yeah.
it is very tempting. Oh,
Oh,
money's
yeah.
coming in. Let's
Yeah.
start making all these changes.
Yeah,
But I think if you're wise enough, you can go, okay, cool, money's coming in, cash flow is for now good.
Mhm.
Cool.
it's very similar to in the wedding photography world, where other photographers think it's so easy to shoot
Mhm.
weddings, so they'll start copying the same style, the same poses, and the same reactions. But then those type of photographers that do copy, it's not original work, and they get bored.
Mhm.
And that's when it just kind of goes downhill from
Right.
there.
It seems like passion's the thing that kind of keeps everything together.
Yeah.
Because even if you are chasing the money, even in the real world, there's bosses who could just let you go because they can find someone cheaper because they're
Mhm.
chasing the money.
Yeah.
But if you lose that job, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because you're just chasing money. But if you have passion,
Yeah.
you don't lose that, right? Like you could take that to the next thing.
Exactly.
You could take that to the next business that you're going to make or whatever.
Yeah, a passionate person will always be more creative than those that copy.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see how that's working here because, I've met a lot of creative people through music. Like other photographers, they've gone on tour, they've done this, they've done that, but never have I seen like like structure in that. You know, they're, because I think too, maybe they're young and they're just learning their skills and just going all out. But I do see a lot of them fall off. Like I've seen a lot of friends sell their equipment, like, and
we've seen that too.
Yeah.
Join the army, like do things totally left field.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's that fork, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're chasing money. Maybe it's the fear. It could be a lot of fear.
Fear can overtake your life.
Yeah, I've learned to be very comfortable with fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Chi is very fear-based mindset sometimes. As much as he is like,
but then
making
it
money
does
is
motivate.
easy.
Yeah.
That's how he thinks. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think for us, like, it's so good that we work together, because it's a balance where you can bring back rationality or to be very comfortable with the fear. Like, yes, I acknowledge that we don't know what 2020 will bring, or
You can never know.
Yeah.
a lot of people come into the industry and buy up all the new mirrorless cameras, and everybody's doing this whole mirrorless camera thing. It's like, yeah, just let them come, because we really, like, again, coming back to trusting, we know who we are, our brand, like, let them come, let them copy. But we have built so much then beyond, you know, a pretty picture, and so much beyond than just good equipment. There's so much that goes into running a successful business. That's why I'm always like, I'm not
It's
even
good.
worried.
Yeah, have that mindset. You know,
Yeah.
just be still. You know, there's so much in the silence that, you know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of answers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just letting it be, letting it go. It's a really good mindset to have.
Yeah, let all the hate, like all of them bitches come. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
yeah.
you can bring all that stuff. You can even try to steal all of our things or know all of our locations even. Like,
The truth always comes out, right?
do you know what
Yeah.
to do with it?
Yeah.
Do you know what to do with that equipment? Do you know what to do with that flash? Do you know what
Right.
to do in a tight spot when you only have 10 minutes?
Right.
All that stuff, what I'm trying to teach you guys right now, like, in a pinch, can you still do it? Can you still produce what we produce?
Right.
So let them. Like, I'm not even worried.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's what kind of rocks people who have that fearful mindset, who can't even start, who can't even trust themselves to, like, let me try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, at least we gave each other the space and the time to figure it out and to do it our way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel hopeless at times. I mean, I would say the last time I felt the fear was making soap. The true fear, yeah. Because after being mentored in making soap, right, which is very similar to how I started photography. I was mentored in how to shoot a wedding and everything. And then when you take all your knowledge and bring it back home and thinking you can do it, and doesn't
Pan out.
yeah, it doesn't pan out, it doesn't look right, then you have a give up mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did give up for a little bit. I was
He's
like,
tough. Like, when he's ready to give up, it's so hard to talk him back. Like, he did the same shit with the paddle boarding. I was like, you just need to just wait a little bit, you know, and then go try again. But don't go in the 6-foot wave. Just go in the 2-foot wave, okay?
It's so tempting.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand. I
He-
understand.
Yeah.
He wants that, like, immediate gratification. So he thinks that way sometimes, and he'll get in a little spiral because of that ADD action, and you just have to kind of reel him back this way, and then he'll put that energy towards something positive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it took some time, and then I made my second batch, and then when I was like a lot more calm and
It was better.
was a little bit more patient, then yeah, it came out to be a better quality, and then that kind of gave me a positive reinforcement to make the third batch, which turned out even better than the second one.
Well, we figured out why, because we figured out on the podcast that, I don't like to read anything. I just like to do it. I'm like, well, maybe you should read a little bit sometimes. You know, it's not bad.
I remember that episode.
I didn't know that. He's like, he'll
never
always
saw
be like,
that?
yeah, well, I was like, did you read? Like, I always hear him researching. He's a very good researcher. And I was like, well, I bet he's researched this. But then during the making stuff, he's like, what, read this to me? I was like, what?
The fine print.
yeah.
Yeah. You like only read the title. You're like,
Yeah.
got it. Got the title. Got it. Like,
Oh man, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
It leads us into bad places
Yeah, it
sometimes.
does.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you read this. Everybody's all stressed out.
Yeah.
I guess it's fun to fail a little, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You want to hit that rock a little. You rather hit it when you first
It's not fun
start.
for me when I have to tell you to like, oh, you try again. You know, like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
probably not fun for
Yeah.
the
It's not
partners.
fun
Yeah.
for me. I'm like, oh, why are you sad? He was so sad about the first batch of soap. He's like, just try it again. He's like, I'm not gonna buy anything else. Or I was like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that
you did that to yourself.
Yeah.
So what brings you out of that? Like okay, you failed. It didn't work out, because that's where people just end the line right there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that one step?
Oh man, well, I would say I have a ton of stuff that I bought, and I didn't want it to go waste. So
Money.
it was definitely money, like the amount of money that you put in to get you here. There was, you're not going to waste it all.
You've invested already.
Yeah, you're already invested. And you're ready. You're ready, like too far in to even back out.
In too
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. He likes to be in too deep.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Maybe though that's like your cushion, your safety net, that you go so far in that it's
You can't
too
go
late.
back.
yeah, it's too late
You
to
better
go
learn
back.
how to do it. You better learn how to paddle surf.
Yeah.
You got like this really nice paddle surfing exclusive custom made board. You're like, damn it, I gotta learn how to use this, even though I'm not supposed to be using this advanced board. Like, yeah, you gotta use it.
And then I learned.
And then you learn.
Yeah, I learned after
It could
like
be a technique that you don't even know that you're doing.
Subconscious
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the first, I would say 5 days of paddle surfing was very hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Beats on you mentally, right?
Yeah.
To fall, physically fall
It's scary
all the time.
all the time, being tumbled around like a dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I would just hear it and I'd be like, that sounds awful. Have fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun to me. I mean,
It's fun. Yeah.
You guys should go.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely
You
in.
need a buddy when you go out there.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way, man. Like I see something, wow, I bet I could do that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I fail. I'm like, damn.
Damn, I want to try it again.
But then that adrenaline rush
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
once you do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think some people won't even go past the eye test. They'll just see it. They
Yeah.
won't even try it, and they'll be like, "No, I can't do that."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like maybe they can, and
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing about fear is
Yeah.
the different levels to it.
I do trust that about you when you fall or you fail at something, that it will annoy you. And then
It
I'm
does
like,
annoy me.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's gonna annoy him. I
It
just
eats
have to
at
be
me.
here and listen and be like, go try again. I like do my job as a wife, and then you'll be like, but you'll do the work in your own mind. You're already like, why didn't I do that, or why didn't I get it right, or
Yeah.
what happened? And you'll start researching. So I already know that about you. Like I can trust your stubbornness to like give it a good shot again. At least give it a good try.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you never really like just stop halfway and not give things a good try.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Or else I'll bother you about it. Like you didn't give it a good shot. You didn't give it
Yeah.
a good shake. You have to give it a good try.
So you're just being supportive.
Yeah, you
and-
gotta
Yeah.
know like when to push in, when to pull away. I'm like, oh, he's
Yeah.
mad now. Bye.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been building myself, is just
Mm.
to, because sometimes you don't have that partner around, or it's
Yeah.
just you
Mhm.
and your thoughts, and that could be scary sometimes.
Yeah, you need to bounce off your ideas, and
Mhm.
that's why people have mastermind groups where they kind of bounce off ideas and
It's tough
ask.
to find a good one.
But it's hard to find good people to bounce off ideas.
A lot of them
Yeah.
are a waste of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
for
have
sure.
experience.
And something that's been helping me is just to be like finding the answers in stillness, quietness, and just letting things be, not necessarily being passive, but just
Yeah.
allowing things to shape out, and then make a decision, because it's not always then and there.
Yeah.
True.
So
Oh, I'm learning that from you right now.
yeah, I find
And
I'm
it seems
telling
like
you.
you live
Yeah.
more in the present.
Oh, I think I've had to humble myself, because
Yeah.
I was living too high, I was living too low, and this is the best place to be. Just be.
B was famous at a moment.
Yeah, we had some
recognized
We had
on the
some
street.
good.
Yeah.
We had a good following. People were sending us all kinds of fan art. In Germany, they painted our logo
Oh, shit.
on a bridge.
Are you serious?
We had
Wow.
all kinds of things, man. And I was telling Meg, it's interesting because we had all this so-called fame,
Yeah.
and this is the most time I felt alone in my life. Like
Yeah.
we had everyone, like the scene. Like everyone was like, oh man, you guys are so good. You guys, at the same time, never felt so alone. And just yesterday, I was riding my bike because, you know, everyone like was doing their own thing. Like my girlfriend was working yesterday for Christmas. My brother was here. My dad was there. I was just kind of, you know, there. And I was just like, man, I'm very present right now. I'm just here. I'm just living my life. But I'm alone. Usually I would think that being alone would make you sad or depressed. But as I'm alone, I'm just here in the present, enjoying what I have, you know. Don't have those fans anymore necessarily. Don't have fan art coming in. I don't have people recognizing me, but I'm the most happiest I've been, or most content. At peace. It's just weird. Because people chase those fans. And it leads to just, you know, emptiness, I feel.
Dude.
Fakeness, you know.
And that's a law in the Insta world. And
TikTok. With podcasting.
And I mean, in every industry, I would say.
Where you put yourself out there.
I think there's a skill to being like alone sometimes, because a lot of people, their thoughts will consume them. You know, fear of the future, dwelling on the past, like scary place to be. So
I think it's very different for, I mean, I would say I grew up alone. I'm the only child to my mom. So I feel like I had those thoughts like throughout my childhood, just playing by myself and everything. So I'm not sure if I was like just trained already.
You'd already gone through that.
Gone through it.
And you were able to build yourself. Some people, it's different, like everything you said, like different points in their lives. Some people are leaving their families in college or whatever. So it hits everyone
differently at different times.
Like
everyone has their own path.
That's for sure. Everyone has their own journey. And that's the thing too, is when you get better, it's hard to help others because you know that they have to do it on their own. Right?
It is very hard.
And you have to watch them like struggle.
And
even though you have all the answers, they still have to struggle. And
I see it on the internet all the time, like these kids struggling, and like you just want to like help them, but sometimes you just can't. Like you have to go through it. You know? Like
it is kind of egotistical too. Now that I think back, that's how I used to. I mean, I think like that all the time. Oh, you could be so much better. I do think like that all the time. That's like my nature. Like I'm super judgmental, and I'm like, dude, if you just do this or whatever. But allowing people to have their space, like accepting them.
Acceptance.
Accepting them.
Always accepted.
I mean, I would like to just be accepted sometimes. Like, stop judging me. Stop telling me how to cook this or like do this or how I do this. Like, please just let me do it the way I want to do it. And then I'm like, oh damn, I shouldn't do that to other people.
You should.
You know.
Allow people to make their mistakes. Say what they gotta say. Like you said, their photography, if they want to copy, let them make their mistakes.
Let them copy.
We're doing our thing, you're doing your thing. And just stay true. Always.
Just have it come from a place of like, it makes sense. That's why I was like, man, it's not really a style. I think it just makes sense.
Structurally
and aesthetically, you know, like if you break it down, the style or whatever, it does follow all of those rules in the books that you like. We never picked up a photography book ever, but it does follow those rules because it just makes sense.
So that was the next thing I told you earlier. I had a question. Is your writing? Your writing is very
emotional.
And it's everything's written well. The website, you know, the job offer.
Oh, thank you.
So where does that come from?
I think that came from accepting that that's how I like to communicate. So really digging in deep to how I like to communicate. So I found that out in college, actually. So I was hating everything about college because I was like, oh, I feel like I have to be here, and I don't even like what I do. I have no purpose or whatever. But then I learned how to write, and I was like, oh, I'm actually good at this. And then when I found out it was natural for me to write, like it's a natural sort of skill. Then I just started to like really embrace it. I practice with it all the time. I use it in terms of therapy. I use it in terms of building structure for things or organizing my thoughts. So I put a lot of energy into my writing, but it's already natural for me to do it. So just like Chi, like, is a natural photographer, he puts all his energy there. Like, a lot of everything is very natural. And for me, the writing, the way that I do, is just, it's actually me talking in a more nicer way. It's more thought out, and it's more like politically correct.
Yeah.
Like, it's the thing that I want to say or mean to say. When I'm talking, it's a lot of just like surface. When I'm writing, I'm allowing myself to become deeper, have more depth, give everything more thought, give everything more structure. And then I'm actually saying what I really want to say when I write.
Because it ties in nicely with what your work is.
Yeah.
Having that description, or just, answering questions without them being asked.
Yeah.
It works really well. When I first looked at the website, I was like, this is really good. The team, you got the gallery. Yeah. And then you have that, you have the description, you have the product, like the visual product. And I was like, this is well balanced. And then I met you, you talked about it. I was like, this is good.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
These are good people to follow and learn from, like, in every way. So
Yeah. There's a lot of failures that we went through to get here.
Well,
I bet.
there's a lot too. Like, it's so cool. This is how I saw it. Like, maybe 2 years ago, when I finally was like, okay, I want to be on this team. Like, really, like, because I was doing things on the side or separately, and we weren't really on the same team yet. And I was like, I want to be on this team where my where my marriage is and everything. And this is the where everything is provided. It comes from this company. So I want to be on this team. So I figured, like, oh, cool. Like, when I was I had that fork again, like, who am I? What's my purpose? I was like, oh, I think I'm like Chi's voice. So he's a visual person. He makes his art through his photos. He gives 110% into his photos. And there are so many times, like, I'll be like, oh, why don't you go to dinner with your clients? He's like, I don't have any energy left.
Yeah.
I give everything.
Yeah,
I gave
get
everything in the session. That's it. I was like, oh, that makes total sense. So that's how he uses his energy, basically. And then there's nothing left after.
It is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
So the way that I use my energy is I take all the things that I see in him and his process. There's a lot that a lot of people don't see, and I make it. I build that bridge through the words, through the marketing, through this podcast. Like us doing this podcast too is a way for people to see what he does.
Yeah.
So it's like providing that I'm his voice, or I'm his, like, the bridge to the layperson. Like, oh, that's that. You don't just take a picture. There's so much that goes into taking that one picture. When it's dead on, when it's three, like a rule of thirds, or whatever you do, right? I know the story and the structure and the thinking behind it. I'm the closest person to it without being him, but I can actually give voice to it.
Yeah.
And I actually want to be on camera and talk about it and be like, like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like the voice.
Yeah, because it's definitely good to share that stuff sometimes too.
People need to know, because then they will understand the value of what they're paying for.
Yeah.
And not just, this number does not just like come out of thin air. We really sit down and we go, what is the value and the worth of this
Just
service?
like anything too. It's like watching behind the scenes of a movie. How interesting that is. How valuable that is. How much team.
Yeah.
Right?
How much goes into one shot?
Thought process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. These are still recording good. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good on that
We're
one too. But yeah.
Yeah. Is it good? It's all good questions.
That was only like 4 of them, right?
Dude, there's so much. It's so cool to finally be here though and talk about it, and we would always do it, but it's not really fitting exactly right. Like, where do we talk about business? Like, does anybody even want to hear it?
I think so. I mean, that's why I have these questions, because I'm developing that mindset. Because I used to be this guy who's like, man, one day I just want to live on Venice Beach and rock out all day.
Yeah.
Like, I had long hair, like. Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I was that guy. I was like, man, I just want to be that guy.
We must Photoshop you with long hair.
Yeah, I have photos somewhere.
You do?
Yeah. So and it's funny to fast forward to now where I'm like, man, I just want to build. I just want to create.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was possible. I I thought either you were this like hippie type of dude or a corporate type of dude.
Oh.
And I didn't know that there's anything in between.
We're kind of in the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can be really corporate-y, and then we can be really...
I mean, you have to, the corporate is a structure.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Right.
where you can't mess around and just bend the rules of corporate.
Yeah.
Um,
And your professionalism is like on point.
yeah, you have to be professional or else people won't take you seriously.
That's for sure. Yeah, because I remember when I was like 19, just having no respect for the people who hired me, you know,
Yeah.
like, just doing whatever I wanted and like coming and going. I look back, I'm like, wow, how horrible I was, you know. To now we're like, man, I have so
Me
many
too.
questions.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I was a little shit.
Yeah. So I guess the final question I had for you guys
Yeah.
for this podcast, the first one is, so what does money mean to you? Does it mean everything? Are you always thinking about it, or is it something else?
It's definitely a tool. So it's a tool to funnel your passion, and that's how I kind of think of it. Like, it's a tool to allow you to do the things that you want to do, and that's how I kind of see it. It is if I wanted to get that paddleboard, I had to make it somehow, right? To afford it, then it funnels my passion to do it. So that's how I kind of view money.
Was it taught to you,
Um,
or did you develop that on your own?
I sort of developed it, but it felt pretty second nature just because of how my parents kind of raised me, and they were business owners as well. And how they worked was just, even though what they had as a business wasn't their passion, but just the way their thinking process and everything was just the same way. They wanted something, they worked harder for it. They wanted a new house, they worked harder for it.
That's a good word
Yeah.
too to use as a tool, like to get to the next thing. That's really good.
And that's
Yeah.
what, yeah.
Well, yeah, I initially learned that from you, and a lot of times I see some of the imbalance from his parents in the way that he thinks with money influence him, which is a pro and a con. And the same way with me, I think of money as options, security and options. Like with money, first checking off the security box. That's how we operate. We like to feel secure. We like to have reserve. We like to not be struggling because we've already dealt with that in our youth. So that always, we check that box. How we make decisions with our money is security first, so that we can have the option to do certain things. So if we feel comfortable that certain things are taken care of course, like he's always reminding me, oh, we got to pay the property tax. Oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do that. Like, so he's really good at providing limits for us in how we spend. Because I think we live very luxuriously compared to like how I grew up. So not that it was bad or anything, but yeah, like it gives us options. Like, cool, I want to feel free to know that we're not lavish with our spending. We try to be, we have like silly things that we buy sometimes, but we want to have the option to go away if we want to. We don't want to feel stuck.
Right.
Like, and we also know that if something happens to him or me, that we can pay for it. And that there's always a plan B in motion too. We have this to cover this if something happens here. So that's the way he's sort of led like our finances in the beginning. That's how we work. So that kind of dictates how much we work too. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this kind of financial move in the future. We need to work this many weddings. And then I'm like, okay, and then we make the train go. And I'm like, let's make it happen, you know?
Yeah, because I think I wanted to ask that because I think there's like sometimes a bad stigma when you want to make money. Like people think of you as greedy or a mean person, or you know, it's out there that if you want money, then you're selfish or something.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that sometimes it opens doors. It's not just, you know, let me get everything I want. You know?
I mean, like you'll attract so say like I I totally forgot what I was about to say, but
Yeah, it's very taboo to even talk about. Like, you know, how do you view money? Like, you know, what
or
does that
talk
mean?
about it.
Yeah.
Well, that whole
Okay.
like being evil, or like that was a thought process that was taught to me. It was like,
Me too,
If
yeah.
if you're rich, that means something's bad.
Mm.
Like rich equals bad,
Yeah.
right? Like, or you see in the cartoon like the rich king, but he's greedy. He wants everything for himself, and so that's the images that I don't know who taught that to me or whatever, but that's what I believed
Mhm.
before I met him.
Yeah.
And then he was like, that's why I was offended when I heard it, like that making money is easy.
You're like, what?
What?
Yeah,
I didn't say anything yet, but
Yeah.
I didn't say anything until maybe we were kind of like incorporated already with the business. Then because I always remembered it, and I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You know?
yeah, but what I feel is like people will only invest into you if you're going to put the money in the right things.
Mhm.
Yeah, people will kind of view you differently if you took that money and funneled it towards stupid stuff all the time.
Right, right.
So that's how I kind of view it as well. It's like you're making money and it is a tool, but then you have to use your tools in the right ways.
Mhm.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a responsible. I mean, use your tools responsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. That's good.
But
I think-
there is also a balance in that to always reward yourself as well.
Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy it. Like just
Life.
Yeah, you need that.
Right, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. I was still learning that too, like okay, so how do I even reward myself? There's always that line too. Like, I had no idea. I was like, "Whoa, what? What do you mean reward?
Mhm.
I already have a roof over my head.
Right.
A reward."
Right, right.
So I shouldn't, kind of like scared to ask for things for yourself. That was sort of like that's something I had to learn too. It's like, it's okay to reward myself for working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just become somebody who just works to work, like you live
Like
to
just
work.
spinning the wheel. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
another
and
cog, you
that
know?
seemed very empty, and maybe that's why at that time I felt like, man, I'm not being appreciated, and it's because like you can't even appreciate yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you expect other people to appreciate you, be like, oh yeah, good job, but like you don't even say good job to yourself, like that's an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to do that too.
Yeah, it's it opens a lot of doors. Like you guys bringing in Nika to your home.
Yeah.
You know, that costs money.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's able to live a life.
We had to commit to that too. Like,
Yeah.
we're
And
gonna
now
go
she's
to the vet.
super obedient after
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah, money well spent.
Yeah,
Such a
now
good baby.
she gets to enjoy a life around you guys. And
Yeah.
you guys providing people like me and, you know, your employees
Yeah.
opportunities. It's like what you said, what you do with it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You funnel it in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then we take it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then there's a big cycle. It
Yeah.
just kind of keeps growing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because right now
Yeah.
people are going to hear this and hear these mindsets, and maybe they're like, "What? You know,
What?
that's taboo." They're talking about money and they're saying it's easy. You know, like
Yeah.
They should be used to it already with cheese. Like
yeah.
says it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, just hearing like you know
Yeah.
someone talk like this, and not just say it, but actually live it,
Mm-hmm.
and still be passionate. Like it's not out there too much. So I think this was a good topic. This is a good.
Definitely,
this is a
yeah.
good take
Great.
here.
Good job with all the
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah. That's really like
Even this
it goes.
dynamic is
Yeah.
cool. It's another level. It's another level of depth to who we are as a company, and like, it's like a reward. To me, it's a reward to finally be here.
Mhm.
Like I've been wanting it for so long, but you can't just have whatever you
Natural.
Yeah.
natural.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Organic, yeah. There were many times I forced a lot of stuff in the past, and then they didn't work out for that reason because it was forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just true with everything. Too.
Yeah.
The more you try to it goes
Control
away.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be controlled. Just
Yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
accept it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think there you have it. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
for the.
Yeah. Thank you for those questions.
There'll be many more. I think.
Yeah. This was a great starter
It was
for the
great.
first episode
Yeah, pretty deep.
of
There's-
KLV.
Yeah, there's many more that I didn't get to. So
Awesome.
There will be
Next
more.
week.
Yeah. Next week.
Cool.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
Bye.
for chiming in.
Oh, maybe we should close it out with what's our outro?
What's our outro?
Yeah, like thanks for listening and watching
Yeah.
the Kevin Le Vu photography show. You can find us on iTunes and YouTube, something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
we got to start a little Instagram. We got to do all the things.
We gotta do all
It's
the
now
things.
like a sub business now. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
I'll show
All
you how
right.
to do all that stuff.
We'll use that take then.
Yeah.
You just said it all right there.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.